She walked through the world like a whisper, barely a ripple in the current of bustling life. Every morning, she stepped out into a city alive with movement, 1,000 stories unfolding at once, all around her and yet never with her. The crowds surged past, faces intent on destinations, voices rising and falling in a tide of laughter and conversation. But she was a shadow among them, drifting unnoticed, untouched, uninvited. Sometimes, in the shimmer of neon signs and the hum of passing cars, she would pause and watch. Lovers holding hands, heads bent together in private joy. Families weaving through the crowd, laughter ringing out like bells. Friends greeting one another with warm embraces. She watched it all, feeling the ache of distance, wondering quietly if she was even real to anyone. Was she simply a figment, a ghost in the margins of other people's stories? The days blurred together, each one marked by the same quiet rituals. In the evenings, she sat alone at a small kitchen table, the soft glow of dusk pooling around her shoulders. There was a single cup of tea, steam curling gently upward, and the slow, inevitable ticking of the clock on the wall. Mornings were quiet, her footsteps echoing in empty rooms, the hush of solitude wrapping around her like a blanket. Nights were quieter still. Once, she had dreamed of connection. She used to imagine the phone ringing, a friend's voice on the other end, laughter spilling into her living room. She pictured footsteps approaching her door, the anticipation of company and warmth. But the phone stayed silent. The door stayed closed. Birthdays came and went with little ceremony, blending into the ordinary cadence of days. She smiled at strangers in the hope of feeling something reflected back. A glimmer of acknowledgement, a kindness returned. But most days, they did not see her. She was invisible, her heart echoing with the hollow weight of emptiness. Yet, in the quiet, she kept moving forward. She walked in the park beneath the green canopy of trees, letting the wind brush against her face. She watched the world, longing for a sign, a spark to light the way out of loneliness. And then, one afternoon, the world shifted. It happened without warning, gentle and unexpected, the way sunlight sometimes breaks through clouds. A small child ran toward her, feet skipping across the grass, eyes bright with joy. The little one paused, looked up at her, a stranger, and pressed a wildflower into her hand. "You look like a fairy," the child whispered, voice ringing clear and sweet. And then, laughter trailing behind, the child ran away. She stood there, flower in hand, the delicate petals trembling in her palm. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen, recognized, chosen, cherished, if only for a moment. Or perhaps it was not a child, but a dog, a stray with gentle eyes, appearing at her side as she sat alone on a park bench. The dog settled near her feet, tail wagging softly, asking for nothing, simply sharing space. The silent companionship warmed her heart, a reminder that connection could be found in the simplest forms. Or maybe it was an old man, passing by on his morning walk, who paused and smiled, crinkles at the corners of his eyes. "You have a kind face," he said, before continuing on his way. Each of these moments, small and unbidden, wove themselves into her story like threads of golden light. It wasn't grand, it wasn't planned. Love, she realized, rarely arrives with fanfare. It slips into our lives quietly, in gentle gestures and whispered kindness. It lives in the space between words, in the warmth of a smile, in the offering of a flower, or the presence of a friend. It is found in the soft gaze of a stranger, the comforting press of a dog's body against her feet, the laughter of a child who sees magic in the everyday. In the wake of that tiny gesture, something inside her unfurled. She felt the warmth she had forgotten still existed, the tender pulse of hope, delicate as the petals in her hand. She began to move through the world differently. Her steps grew lighter, her face open to the possibility of connection. She found herself smiling more, meeting the eyes of those who passed her by. Sometimes, she would offer a flower to someone else, a small act of kindness, a ripple in the stream of daily life. She noticed more, the way sunlight danced on the pavement, the laughter spilling from cafe windows, the quiet beauty in the faces around her. The silence she carried for so long began to soften, filled with new sounds, a greeting, a shared moment, the gentle chorus of life. She still walked the same streets. The city did not change, but she did. Now, she noticed the way the world could open up in small, unexpected ways, how kindness could be found in brief encounters and quiet gestures. Because someone saw her once, because a child placed a flower in her hand, or a dog sat by her side, or a stranger offered a smile. That was enough to remind her, she matters. She is lovable. She is not invisible. And so, as the sun rose on another day, casting warm light across the city, she carried that truth with her. Sometimes, one small act, one moment of seeing and being seen, can rewrite someone's story. It can turn loneliness into hope, silence into song, invisibility into belonging. The world may be busy and life may rush by, but there is always room for kindness, always room for love. If you have ever felt unseen, remember, you are not alone. In the quiet spaces of your life, love is waiting, sometimes in the smallest, most unexpected forms. One gentle word, one act of care, can change everything. You matter, you are enough, and your story is not finished. Sometimes one small act of love can rewrite someone's story. You are not alone. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with us. If it touched something in your heart, stay a while. Subscribe for more gentle journeys every weekend. This is Heartbeam, where emotion finds its echo.